So back in September of 2020, I made a small investment that ended up making me a ridiculous amount of money. And I never really talked about it or shared it because everyone gets all mad when I share about a project that I've already made money on, a lot of money on after the fact. But I actually think there's a lot to learn from this experience and this story, so I'm gonna share it and hopefully it's helpful. So back in September 2020, I invested $760 into a really small project called Terra Luna. This was really early into my journey to $1 million. And at that point, $760 was actually a lot of money to me. I didn't have a lot of money to invest like I do now. So when I invested $760, that was like, oh my gosh, I hope we don't lose this money. It's a lot of money. I invested into Terra Luna and I just waited to see what would happen. And when I threw the money into this project, I wasn't even fully sure what the project really did at the time. I just thought it looked like a good project and I invested. And at that time, the price per Luna was around 31 cents and the market cap was around 100 million. So I bought it and I kind of forgot about it because I was busy with my 1 million project. I was doing all these side hustles. I was making all these TikTok videos. I was trying to start a YouTube channel. And so I kind of forgot that I even invested in this project for a while. I said it, I forgot about it and just kind of let it go and didn't really pay attention to it. And after 4 months, the price of Luna went from 31 cents all the way to $1.42, turning my $760 into $3,481, which was insane. So I took some profit and sold off $568 worth of Luna. And it seemed like it was a pretty smart idea at the time. I didn't know how much higher this project could really go. You know, maybe it would collapse from there. And so it seemed like a smart idea to take some of that profit off the table at that point. But then a month later, the project went from $1 all the way to $5.52, bringing my total to $11,338. So I thought to myself, wow, it must definitely be reaching like as high as it could go. So I'm gonna take some more profit. So I sold off some Luna, taking a profit of $2,760. And again, at the time, it seemed like a really good idea. But this happens to be the rare example where this was actually a huge mistake. And the reason I made this mistake really came down to the fact that I didn't thoroughly research the project on my own. I didn't fully understand what I'd invested in. And because of that, I didn't fully realize the potential of this project. And in my own defense, keep in mind, this was really early in my journey to $1 million. I was heavily distracted at the time, but that's still a really lame excuse for not doing my own research, and it cost me big. At the time, my concept of basically what Luna was it was sort of like a piece of a stablecoin. It allowed this stablecoin UST to operate, and that was kind of my basic understanding of what Luna was. Had I done a little bit of research, I would have understood that it actually wasn't just a piece of a stablecoin, but they were trying to build an entire network similar to something like Ethereum. 8 months end up going by and the price of Luna goes from $5 to $44 a Luna token, meaning my $760 little tiny investment I had made into Luna was now worth $69,000. To me, this was all insane. I'd only invested $760 and now I had $69,000. And again, I decided there's no way this thing could go any higher. Like, this has been absolutely insane. This has blown my mind, but there's no way this thing's going higher. So I'm gonna take some more profit. And I sold $12,000 worth of Luna to invest elsewhere. In fact, if I'm remembering right, I actually think I took a big portion of that and invested into time. Lots of mistakes were made during this journey. But then over the next couple of months, the price of Luna just kept going up and up and up and up and up, to where at one point, Luna was trading at $102 a token, turning my $760 investment a little over a year later into $130,000. And this blew my mind. Like, it was hard for me to comprehend that I could invest $700 into something and a year later it was worth $130,000. But it was also around this time I started thinking about all the times I'd sold off Luna and how much money I had possibly missed out on. For example, the first time I sold some of my Luna for $568, that amount at Luna's height would have been worth over $40,000. The second time, where I sold only $2,000 worth of Luna, would at $102 be worth $51,000. And the third time I sold $12,000 worth of Luna would have been worth $28,000. All in all, because I sold early and I didn't do my research, I missed out on $119 $119,000. Now, of course, all of that is assuming that I actually sold at the height, but since then we've obviously had some major corrections in the market, and today my Luna is worth $72,433, which obviously is still a mind-blowing amount of money from a $700 investment. Also, because I always get comments from people that get mad, like, why didn't you tell us about this when you jumped in it? I didn't tell people about it when I jumped in it, that's true, but I did make a video about it back in March when the price per Luna was around $10 a token. And I also did a video in May when the price per Luna was around $5 a token, which is pretty funny looking back, because I remember when I made those videos, like I made the first one and people were like, oh, this is cool, we're gonna jump in. And then I made the second one and it had dropped by, 50%, and people were like so angry at me, like, oh, you're so dumb. Like, why would you talk about a project? It dropped 50%. But time gives perspective, and those same people, had they bought the dip or simply held on to their Luna holdings, $1,000 bought at that $5 price would be worth $20,000 at Luna's height, or today would be worth around $10,000. So the big takeaways from this is you need to be patient. Crypto is volatile, and what could seem like 1 month a huge massive loss, a huge massive mistake, could 7 months later be one of the biggest wins you've ever had. The second takeaway is do your own research. Understand what you're actually investing in and understand what its potential growth could be. Most projects, it does make sense to take your risk off the table, but had I understood that Terra Luna was building a full-blown network like Ethereum or Avalanche, I would have known that it had so much more room to grow and that it was actually still pretty small in comparison to the projects it was, competing against. Takeaway number 3 is you don't need that much money invested in crypto to make a fortune. I started with $760 and it's now turned into over $70,000. If you're early and it's a good project, it could change your life. And the last lesson learned is you only need to be right once. I could have invested $760 into 10 different projects and had 9 of them fail outright and go to absolute zero, and still made a fortune from just that one win with Terra Luna. There's no way you can be right every time, and don't expect to be. Instead, focus on diversifying and managing your risk well. My goal with investing in a ton of different projects is just to try to find that one that's gonna turn $760 into over $100,000. I know now that it'll require patience and a ton of failures along the way, but that the payoff at the end is totally worth it. I read a stat from a news article the other day. They said that only 3.9% of the planet currently owns crypto. If that's the case, then we're still in the really, really early days of crypto. Lots of fortunes to still be made and tons of opportunity in the future. And lastly, I wanted to do a quick shout out. We've officially launched our Discord group, the House of Obsidian. There's a link in the description of this video. It's like the community hub for this channel. We do weekly AMAs with a ton of projects, community events, classes, and all kinds of cool stuff. So definitely check out the link in the description of this video and go check out the group. As always, none of this is investment advice. You should always do your own research, and this is just me sharing my journey. If this video was helpful, make sure to hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section down below. I try to go through and read and respond to as many as I can. I don't always hit all of them, but I do my best. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button, but you got to also hit the little bell next to it if you want to actually be notified each time I release a video. If you don't hit that little bell, then you won't actually be notified when I release the video, but hitting the bell allows YouTube to send you a notification and say, hey, Jesse has uploaded a new video if you want to check it out. And then you could be like, nah, I'm busy, and dismiss that notification or check it out immediately if that's something that you're wanting to do. It just at least gives you the option to know when I've uploaded a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.